Hey, it's Abby. So I had a couple of you ask about either the Instant Messenger widget or kind of organizing things into tables. So I thought I'd go ahead and kind of just use my little teacher tools and put a short little video kind of demonstrating how to do all that. So for instance, here's my personal finance classroom. I've already got the table and widget put in, and then I'll kind of show you how. I haven't done my marketing classroom yet, so I'll just kind of show you in there. But you can kind of see the outline here of the table that's put in, and it just kind of allows you to lay out things a little nicer. So that's kind of what I'll show you how to do in here. So in author mode, mine came with this little image, but I'm going to delete that. And this is your table icon up here, and you can kind of drag to how many cells you want your table to have. For mine, I like to do the title in the first row, the weekly calendar and the instant message box in the second row, and then the class picture in the third row. So I make this little 3x2 table, and then you can kind of combine these cells, kind of like in Excel. This program is a little touchy, but I think I've kind of got it down. If you select the cells you want to combine and then right-click, that takes you to this table properties. So I want to combine my top row, and I can go to column span. That means it's going to span over 2 columns. So that makes my first row the same width as the 2 columns below it. So now I have this whole first row takes up those 2 columns. And I'm also going to do that down here because I have my banner. Then I want a box for my calendar, a box for my instant messenger, and then a box for my class picture. So I'm going to set my table up like so. And so in this first row, I put my banner image, and I had someone ask about how I do that banner. Let me get that pulled. So here's a banner that I made for marketing, and I use Publisher, and I just type out the font. I usually throw a little image on there, and then to make it an image, I just do I use that snipping tool and capture the image that I want, and I save that image, and I already have that done. But then I go into where I want to put that image and insert the image here. So now I've got that kind of title image up here in my first row. And then in this box, this is where I usually put my weekly schedule. So I take like a screenshot of my schedule for that week and then just place that image in there like I did with the banner. And then over in this cell is where I'm going to put my instant messenger. And I type it in here so that, because when I go get the instant messenger, I copy the code and then I put it in through the HTML option. So when you type in your box, so I want instant messenger to be in this cell, when I go to my code, I just highlight where I had that typed, where it says instant messenger, and then that's where I'll be copying and pasting my code. So I still use that Zoho.com for instant messenger, and then I do the live chat option, and then it just gives you the, let's see, this is for marketing. Oh, actually, I think this is where my name goes. And then it generates the code for you. So you're going to copy this code, go back to your page, and again, where I typed, I want it in that particular cell on my table. So I'm going to highlight where I typed instant messenger, and this little symbol is just like is the extra space I had in there or something, so we can highlight that too. And then paste your code so it's inside the cell that you want it in. And you'll notice that it's kind of big right now. You can go in and change. You can kind of play with the size. I think my personal finance one, I liked it a little smaller. I can go in and kind of see what I did with that code. So here's my chat box. I made it 200 pixels in height, so I'll probably do that same thing here. And then it'll kind of adjust the width on its own once you get an image put in here. So maybe I'll just kind of show you real quick. So say I have the image of my personal finance class. I'll just throw that one back in here. Okay, so if I throw that image in there, you'll notice that it automatically kind of adjusts the width of that chat box, and it just makes it look goofy right now in this design portion, but it'll look better once we get into the kind of course view. And so let's kind of just look at where we're at real quick. And I'll pause this. Oh, here we go. Okay, let's go back into course view. And you can kind of see how everything's kind of lining up. I'll want that table centered. But my chat box looks pretty normal there. So let's see it. And I know my table looks centered here, but for some reason it's not showing up as centered. That might be, there's still some like glitches, I think. Hopefully this will, good, table, properties, alignment, center. Maybe that will do it. So again, this whole content management system that we get to use is kind of glitchy, but there it's now it's nice and centered. So again, in that table properties, you can kind of go in and center that. And then the last thing I'll add is that class picture. And once you get the table set up and you kind of get it figured out to how many rows and columns you're going to need, and you can like I showed you how to column span, you can row span to like kind of take up some more space depending on what you're wanting to put in that cell. That's kind of the tricky part, and then just kind of tinkering with it until you get your table set up the way you want it. What was I going to grab here? Let's just grab personal finance. Those are my dogs. Class picture. And so like this is that, hold on, my dogs are driving me crazy right now. So that's where I put this picture then in the last row. Usually I have a bigger one. This one's just an old one that I threw in there. But so that's how you make tables, and that's how you kind of lay things out so it's a little prettier on your page. And I'll probably go in and adjust this one a lot. My personal finance one turned out a little better. But anyways, there you go. So that's how you use that instant messenger code and pop that into your classroom. And that's also how you set up tables. Let me know if you... And one last thing I wanted to add. So once you have like a table and stuff set up in one classroom, if you go to the HTML option and you can select all of this and copy it, you can just paste it across in your other classes. Paste that code, and then all you'll have to do, you won't have to keep resetting up the tables each time. You can just switch out the images. So I set everything up in computer fundamentals, and then I just copied and pasted that code into each of my other classes and just switched out the images. So kind of keeps things consistent. So it's a lot easier. Like I said, you don't have to set it up for every class. You can just copy and paste that code and switch out the images.